Hey guys, my name is Joel Roadie, and you're watching my podcast, Party Like a Rockstar. I had this wonderful opportunity when I was younger to tour with bands as a roadie like Stone Temple Pilots, Guns N' Roses, The Cranberries, and Poison. I wrote a book called Memoir of a Roadie. It was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios, and it sold 3 million copies on Kindle. It's been a really cool ride. If you like this little clip, at the end I'll put a link to the full episode with those guys. Here's the first of two. Check it out.
I'll tell you, this is really funny, and I'll say this. So we were at a music messa one year, which is like the year. Well, I don't know if they still have that anymore, Chris.
In theory, yes, but it is
Okay.
minuscule compared to what it used to be.
Okay. Well, in these days, it was a big show, right? It's a huge.
It was the biggest in the world.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was
So
bigger than NAMM.
yeah, it was massive, and it was in Frankfurt. So we took Vinnie Paul over there. We took and his crew. So it was like Vinnie Paul and his right hand guy, Bry Dog, who I absolutely love. His at the time, his security guy, I think, was Cowboy. This guy named Cowboy. He always traveled with a small entourage, right? Especially after Daryl was killed, just for safety reasons and stuff, right? I mean, you can imagine. So we're eating we're eating dinner at this Thai restaurant in Frankfurt, and they had these long tables. So we were sitting here facing like the back wall of the restaurant, and then there were tables this way. Well, the next table was Pearl, and he had just left Pearl to come to D-Drum. Like literally, this was like our big European. He's going to be there signing autographs, that kind of thing. And I think it was Yakamoto, whoever the head of Pearl was at the time, the president. I think his name was Yakamoto. No, Gene Nakamura. That's what it was. And so he walks over because Pearl was at the next table, and Vinny elbows me. He goes, "Man, it's Pearl." And I'm like, "What do you want me to do, man? Throw him out? I mean, we're all eating dinner here in this restaurant." So he goes, "Damn it!" So we're sitting there, and Gene walks over, and he looks at Vinny, and he goes, "Ah, Winnie Paul, what are you doing here?" And he had his D drum work shirt on, and Vinny looks at him, and he goes, "Dude, I left Pearl. I'm with D drum now." And the A&R guy at the time, I think, was Scott Ferreras. I think Scott Ferris, whatever his name was. I can't remember. And no one had told the president of Pearl that they lost Vinnie Paul.
Ooh.
So Vinnie Paul looks. So the president of Pearl's like, "Oy." Like you could just tell, like he was ready to just fucking broke.
Oh yeah,
So,
awkward.
so yeah, right. So Vinny's like, "God damn it!" So he goes, "We got to get out of here," because all the president of Pearl did now, like, so I'm looking at you. He was looking at Vinny like this the whole time eating. Never took his eyes off Vinny. And Vinny's like, "This is the most uncomfortable shit. I can't take this." So he goes, "We gotta go, dude." So we left the restaurant and we ended up walking around Frankfurt. We're all shit faced drunk. Walking around Frankfurt, we see this couple like banging in a car parked on the street. And we ended up making it must have taken us an hour, but we made this huge square. We ended up right back in front of the Thai restaurant. And in the cab was the president of Pearl leaving in a cab looking at Vinny like this. And Vinny's like, he's like, "I knew that shit would happen." Right. So I mean, there's a million stories like that. I mean, and Chris, I'm sure you've got a ton. I mean, hanging out with the Pantera guys can go on for a year.
Told you it was a good story. The second one features Sterling Winfield and Jeff Pierce. I picked this one because it's a totally different aspect of Vinnie Paul than what I think most people think about. This clip's actually about sobriety, and I chose it because I thought it really showed the full picture of who this guy was. And I think these guys, they're sharing a moment which is important. So many of us battle with alcoholism and depression and stuff. And this is not a negative clip. It's actually a very positive clip for both of these guys. If you have any comments or suggestions, please put them below and let us know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If you liked the clip, at the end of it, again, I'll put a link to the full episode. Thanks for your time. Take care, guys.
I think another moment that was really pivotal for me, like Jeff, I have a similar, Pantera kind of getting sober story. I took my last drink in Vinnie Paul's kitchen, and there was a point, and that was right in the middle of trying to do the second Hellyeah album, Stampede, the one we were talking about with Marcus. And I always thought getting sober would be really hard for me because of the group of people that can't call them anything less than family. I'm sorry. Everybody thinks that's a cliche, but it's true. And I always thought I would get a hard time, oh, you big pussy, blah, blah, blah. And it was when I told Vinny, when I finally worked up the courage to tell Vinny I'm getting sober, he was like, man, I've been waiting a long time to hear you say that. And I'm glad for you. And we're going to make sure that you're protected and your best interests are in our best interest. So I'm glad to hear you say that. And that just blew my mind. And that was upstairs in the studio at his house. It was just me and him and during the making of that album. And so from that moment on, he was like my biggest champion of all of that. Hey, don't bother him with drinks, or hey man, you want me to fix you a virgin margarita or whatever, just always like super cool about it.
It's funny you say that, Sterling, because I was it was right after Diane's death, and me and Darren DeLatte, which we went over to Vinny's for the Super Bowl, and we're sitting in this living room. There's only about 10 people over there, and Vinny's cooking up a storm, and everybody does shots to Dime. And I remember it came to me, and I'm sitting on my hands, just still shaking because I was only a few months sober, and Vinny goes, "Do you not drink, or are you retired?" And I said, "I'm retired." And he made me a shot of Dr. Pepper. And it was like the sweetest thing that anybody could ever done, because I felt, like here,
You're the odd man out.
Yeah.
And I want to fit in, and it was one of those things I would very easily could have just went the other way just to try to fit in with them.
Totally. But they were good like that. There was always those moments of the old Pantera mantra of drink it or wear it. But it was if you were serious about it, then they were too. There was a line that they didn't cross, and that was I didn't find out till later that was one of them. But another really cool moment of, wow, these dudes, he really does have my back. He really is my bro, and it continued on after that,
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe by clicking the round button on the bottom right. To learn more about me or the guests on the show, go to joelroadie.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. The handle's Joel Roadie.